Let's start number 1, Ford Mustang Eleanor. What if I told you Eleanor didn't just come back? She evolved into something so powerful, so advanced, that it might actually rewrite what an American muscle legend is supposed to be. Because the all-new 2026 Ford Mustang Eleanor isn't just a tribute anymore. It's a transformation. And once you see what Ford has done here, you might start questioning everything you thought you knew about the Mustang. You're watching Premium Automotive Reviews, where we go beyond the surface and uncover what truly makes these machines matter. And this is different. There's something hidden in this new Eleanor that most people won't notice at first. But once you do, you can't unsee it. The moment it rolls into frame, the presence hits you instantly. That deep metallic bronze finish, reflecting every light like liquid metal, gives it a premium aura you don't normally associate with traditional muscle cars. But then your eyes lock onto the front end. And that's where the story begins to change. The iconic Mustang grille is still there, but it's sharper, more aggressive, more focused. The tri-bar LED signature headlights slice through the air with precision, giving the car a stare that feels almost alive. And then there's that name, Eleanor, boldly placed like a signature on something exclusive. This isn't just a Mustang wearing a badge. This is a Mustang that knows exactly what it is. Look closer at the hood, and you'll notice those sculpted lines aren't just for aesthetics. They channel airflow, reduce drag, and hint at something far more serious underneath. The front splitter, the side intakes, the subtle aerodynamic cuts along the body. They all work together to give this car a purpose beyond just looking good. And as the camera moves along the side profile, the proportions tell you everything you need to know. Low, wide, and planted. This car doesn't sit on the road, it grips it. Those massive performance wheels, wrapped in ultra-wide tires, are designed for one thing: control at extreme power levels. But here's where it gets interesting. Because this Eleanor doesn't rely on nostalgia alone, it evolves it. The rear design stays true to Mustang DNA with those signature triple vertical taillights. But now they're sharper, more dynamic, almost like they're pulsing with energy. The quad exhaust setup hints at something brutal waiting to be unleashed, while the rear diffuser subtly manages airflow without screaming for attention. It's clean, it's modern, and it's confident. But everything changes the moment you step inside, because this is where old-school muscle meets next-generation intelligence. Slide into the cabin, and you immediately feel the shift. The rich tan leather wraps around you, stitched with precision that feels closer to luxury grand tourers than traditional muscle cars. The seats hug you just enough to remind you this car means business, but they are comfortable enough for long drives without fatigue. The dashboard is where things take a futuristic turn. A wide digital display seamlessly integrates the driver cluster and infotainment system, creating one fluid experience. No clutter, no confusion, just clarity. And here's the detail most people will miss. The system isn't static, it learns you. This Eleanor is powered by an adaptive AI interface that studies your driving style, your preferences, even your daily habits. It adjusts throttle response, steering feel, suspension stiffness, and even interior lighting based on how you drive. Not tomorrow, not after an update. In real time, imagine getting into your car and it already knows exactly how you want it to feel. That's where this car separates itself. Connectivity is seamless, with over-the-air updates constantly evolving the system. Your car gets smarter, sharper, and more refined over time. It's no longer just a machine, it's a growing ecosystem. But all of this is just the setup. Because what's under the hood is where Eleanor truly shocks you. We're talking over 1,000 horsepower. Yes, this is no longer just muscle. This is controlled chaos. The 2026 Mustang Eleanor is powered by a next-generation twin-turbocharged V8 hybrid performance system, combining raw combustion power with instant electric torque. The result? Brutal acceleration that feels almost unreal, yet delivered with a level of smoothness you wouldn't expect from something this powerful. And here's the twist. It's not always aggressive. Switch into comfort mode, and the car transforms into a refined cruiser. Quiet, composed, effortless. But the moment you switch modes, everything tightens. The suspension stiffens, the exhaust deepens, the throttle sharpens. And suddenly, you're driving something that feels closer to a supercar than a traditional Mustang. That dual personality is what makes this Eleanor dangerous, because it gives you options, The drivetrain is engineered for precision. Advanced all-wheel drive ensures that all that power actually reaches the ground without losing control. Adaptive suspension reads the road constantly, adjusting in milliseconds to keep the ride balanced. And surprisingly, it doesn't feel intimidating. It feels controlled. That's the difference between raw power and intelligent power. Now let's talk about safety. Because with this level of performance, it matters more than ever. This Eleanor is equipped with next-generation driver assistance systems that go beyond basic features. Predictive sensors analyze traffic patterns, road conditions, and driver behavior to help prevent issues before they happen. Semi-autonomous driving capabilities allow for relaxed highway cruising, while still keeping you fully engaged when you want to take control. It's not about removing the thrill, it's about enhancing confidence. And then there's practicality. Something muscle cars rarely get right, but this one does. The cabin space is surprisingly usable, offering comfort for daily driving, long-distance travel, and even occasional passenger use. Storage is thoughtfully designed, and ride quality ensures you're not sacrificing comfort for performance. This isn't just a weekend car, it's a car you can actually live with. And that raises the real question, who is this car for? Because it's not built for everyone. This Eleanor is for someone who understands legacy, but refuses to live in the past. Someone who wants raw power, but demands modern intelligence. Someone who doesn't just drive, but experiences every moment behind the wheel. It's for the driver who wants emotion and technology in equal measure. And compared to everything else on the road, this feels different. Not because it's louder, not because it's faster, but because it blends heritage with future innovation in a way that feels natural. Now let's talk numbers that actually matter. The 2026 Mustang Eleanor is expected to start around $140,000, climbing higher depending on performance packages and customization. And when you consider the level of engineering, technology, and sheer performance, it positions itself in a space that's no longer just muscle car territory. This is something else entirely. And maybe that's the biggest shift of all, because the Mustang isn't just a Mustang anymore. It's evolving into something bigger, something smarter, something that doesn't just honor its past, but builds on it. So when you look at this Eleanor, you're not just looking at a redesigned icon. You're looking at a turning point, a moment where American muscle steps into a new era without losing its soul. And if this is the future of Mustang, then the next few years are about to get very interesting. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't just another reveal, it's a statement. Drop your thoughts below. Does this feel like the ultimate evolution of Eleanor, or something completely new? And if you want more deep dives like this, stay connected with premium automotive reviews, because what's coming next might be even bigger than this. Let's start number 2, Chevrolet Corvette Zora. What if the Corvette you thought was already untouchable just crossed into a territory so extreme, so advanced, that even hypercars might start looking over their shoulders? Because the 2026 Chevrolet Corvette Zora isn't just faster, it's something far more dangerous. And once you understand what's really happening under this machine, you'll realize this isn't just evolution, it's domination. You're watching premium automotive reviews, where we don't just look at cars, we decode what makes them matter. And this Zora? There's a hidden layer to it that most people won't catch at first glance. But once you see it, everything about this car starts to feel different. The first moment you see it, it doesn't feel like a Corvette anymore. It feels like something born from a different category altogether. That deep molten gold finish flows across the body like liquid metal under light, giving it a presence that feels almost unreal. And then your eyes lock onto the front, low, wide, surgical. The front fascia isn't just aggressive, it's calculated. Those razor-sharp LED signatures aren't just lighting elements, they're part of a larger aerodynamic story. The way they integrate into the body, cutting into deep air channels, tells you immediately, this car is engineered for speed before anything else. Look closer at the hood and front splitter, and you'll notice something subtle but critical. Every contour, every curve, every opening is designed to manage airflow with precision. This isn't styling for attention, this is airflow shaping performance. And then comes the stance. It sits impossibly low, almost like it's fused to the ground. The wide track, those intricate turbine-style wheels, the massive performance tires. This car doesn't just sit on the road, it claims it. But here's where things shift, because the Zora doesn't rely on aggression alone, it refines it. As the camera moves along the side, you start noticing how clean everything feels. No unnecessary lines, no forced drama, just pure, sculpted intent. The side intakes are deep and functional, feeding air directly into the heart of the machine. And the roofline? Seamless, almost glass-like, flowing into the rear in one continuous motion. Then you reach the back. And that's where the real statement happens. The rear design is unlike anything Corvette has ever done. The lighting signature stretches across with a futuristic precision, while the quad central exhaust setup sits like a warning. It doesn't scream for attention, it commands it. And right there, stamped with confidence, Zora. But everything you've seen so far is just the introduction, because stepping inside changes the entire experience. The cabin doesn't feel like a traditional Corvette interior anymore. It feels like a cockpit designed for a new generation of drivers. The moment you sit in, you're surrounded by precision. Carbon fiber, Alcantara, and premium materials wrap around you in a way that feels intentional, not excessive. The seating position is low, focused, almost race-inspired, but still comfortable enough for real-world driving. And then your attention moves to the dashboard. Everything is centered around you. The digital cluster isn't just a display. It's an interface that adapts in real time. Driving modes don't just change colors, they transform the entire experience. The infotainment system blends seamlessly into the layout, giving you access to performance data, navigation, and connectivity without ever feeling distracting. And here's where things get interesting. This Zora doesn't just respond to you, it predicts you. The integrated AI system studies how you drive, your throttle input, your braking habits, your cornering style, and adjusts the car's behavior accordingly. Suspension, steering feedback, power delivery, all fine-tuned in real time. Imagine a car that learns how you like to drive, and then becomes better at it than you expected. That's the difference here, and it doesn't stop there. Over-the-air updates continuously evolve the system. Performance tweaks, new driving modes, enhanced stability systems. This car doesn't stay the same, it improves. Now let's talk about what really defines the Zora, because everything so far leads to this moment. Underneath that sculpted body sits a powertrain that completely changes the game. We're talking over 1,200 horsepower. Not just raw power, but intelligent power. This Zora combines a twin turbocharged V8 with a high-performance hybrid system, delivering instant torque and relentless acceleration. The moment you touch the throttle, there's no delay, no hesitation, just immediate response that pushes you back into the seat with force. But here's the part most people don't expect. It's controlled. The advanced all-wheel drive system ensures that every bit of that power is usable. No drama, no chaos, just precision. The car grips, launches, and accelerates in a way that feels almost effortless. And when you push it harder, that's when the real personality comes out. The suspension stiffens. The steering tightens. The entire car becomes sharper, more focused. It's no longer just fast, it's alive, and yet, switch it back to a calmer mode and it transforms again. Smooth, composed, almost quiet. A completely different character. That dual nature is what makes this car so unique, because it gives you control over the experience, not the other way around. Now let's talk about something often overlooked in cars like this, confidence, because with this level of performance, you need more than just speed. You need trust. The Zora is packed with advanced safety and driver assistance systems that work quietly in the background. Predictive sensors monitor the road, adjust traction, and even anticipate potential risks before they become problems. Semi-autonomous driving capabilities make long journeys easier, while still keeping you connected to the driving experience. It's not about taking control away, it's about enhancing your ability to use it. And surprisingly, this car isn't just built for the track, it's built for life. The cabin offers enough comfort for longer drives. Storage is practical enough for daily use. Visibility, ride quality, and overall usability make it more approachable than you'd expect from something this extreme. Which brings us to the real question: who is this car actually for? Because it's not just for collectors. It's not just for track enthusiasts. It's for someone who wants the future, Now, someone who appreciates engineering at its highest level, but still wants to feel connected. Someone who understands performance, but demands intelligence with it. And compared to everything else out there, the Zora doesn't just compete. It redefines expectations. Because while others chase speed or luxury or technology, this car blends all of it into one experience. Now let's talk numbers that truly matter. The 2026 Corvette Zora is expected to start around $180,000, pushing well beyond that depending on configuration and performance options. And when you consider what it delivers, over 1,200 horsepower, advanced hybrid technology, next-level design, it starts to make sense. Because this isn't just another Corvette, this is the Corvette, the one that changes the conversation. So when you look at this Zora, you're not just looking at a car. You're looking at a statement, a machine that takes everything Corvette has ever stood for and pushes it into a completely new era. And maybe that's the most exciting part. Because if this is where Corvette is heading, then the future of performance just got a lot more interesting. If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just hype. It's something real. Drop your thoughts below. Does this feel like the ultimate evolution of the Corvette, or something entirely new? And if you want more deep dives like this, stay connected with premium automotive reviews, because what's coming next might just top this. Now let's start number 3, Chrysler 300e series. What if I told you the car everyone thought was fading away just came back with over 700 horsepower, a completely reimagined future, and technology that doesn't just compete, it quietly dominates. Because the all-new 2026 Chrysler 300e series isn't just a comeback, it's a statement. And once you see what Chrysler has done here, the idea of a traditional luxury sedan might never feel the same again. You're watching premium automotive reviews, where we don't just look at cars on the surface, we break down what actually makes them matter. And trust me, this one goes deeper than you expect, especially when we get into what's hiding under the skin and how it changes everything you thought you knew about the 300. At first glance, the presence alone tells you this isn't the Chrysler you remember. That long, low stance still carries the DNA of the classic 300, but now it's sharper, more sculpted, and unmistakably modern. The front fascia feels aggressive without trying too hard, with that signature wide grille evolving into something more aerodynamic and premium. It's not oversized, it's perfectly balanced. And those slim LED headlights, with their layered light signature, almost feel like they're watching the road before you even start driving. Look closer, and you'll notice how the body lines flow effortlessly from front to rear. There's a sense of motion even when the car is standing still. The hood sits slightly lower than before, stretching forward with confidence, while the side profile blends elegance with muscle. Those large multi-spoke alloy wheels don't just fill the arches, they define the stance. This is a car that doesn't scream for attention. It earns it. And then you move to the rear, where things get even more interesting. The taillights are cleaner, sharper, and connected by a subtle design language that makes the entire back feel wider. The quad exhaust setup instantly tells you this isn't just about comfort anymore. There's performance hiding here. Serious performance. And we'll get to that in a moment. But before that, step inside, because this is where the transformation becomes undeniable. The moment you enter the cabin, you realize Chrysler didn't just upgrade the interior, they completely redefined it. Soft-touch materials wrap around you, from the dashboard to the doors, blending premium leather with real wood accents and brushed metal details. It feels warm, but also incredibly modern. The screen layout is where things really shift into the future. A fully digital driver display sits behind the steering wheel, crisp and customizable, while a large central touchscreen flows seamlessly into the dashboard. But what makes it special isn't just the size, it's how it responds. Everything feels instant, intuitive, almost like the car understands what you're about to do before you do it. And that's because it kind of does. The 2026 Chrysler 300e series introduces an AI-driven system that learns your habits over time. It adjusts climate settings, suggests routes based on your routine, even changes ambient lighting depending on your mood or time of day. It's subtle, but once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Speaking of ambient lighting, the cabin comes alive at night. Soft LED strips run across the dashboard and doors, creating a calm, almost lounge-like atmosphere. It's not flashy, it's refined. The kind of detail that makes long drives feel shorter. Comfort hasn't been overlooked either. The seats are wider, more supportive, and designed for both relaxation and performance driving. Whether you're stuck in traffic or pushing the car through open roads, they adapt to you. Rear passengers get generous legroom, making this a true full-size luxury experience. Not just for the driver, but for everyone inside. Now, here's where things start to shift from luxury to something much more exciting. Underneath that elegant design, the 2026 Chrysler 300e series isn't playing safe. This next-generation model brings a hybrid performance system that pushes output beyond 700 horsepower. And no, this isn't just about numbers. It's about how that power is delivered. Instant torque from the electric motors blends seamlessly with a high-performance engine, creating acceleration that feels smooth but relentless. You press the pedal, and instead of a delay, you get immediate response. It's the kind of power that doesn't shout, it just moves. The drivetrain has been re-engineered to handle this new level of performance, with an advanced all-wheel drive system that keeps everything under control. Whether you're driving through the city or pushing harder on open roads, the car feels planted, confident, and surprisingly agile for its size. And this is where things get interesting, because even with that level of performance, the ride quality doesn't suffer. Adaptive suspension works in real time, adjusting to road conditions and driving style. In comfort mode, it glides over imperfections. Switch to a more aggressive setting, and the car tightens up, giving you a completely different personality. It's almost like you're driving two different cars in one, but performance alone doesn't define the future. Technology does. And the 300e series is packed with it. The infotainment system is deeply connected, offering seamless integration with your devices, real-time updates, and over-the-air improvements that keep the car evolving even after you buy it. You're not just purchasing a vehicle. You're stepping into a digital ecosystem that grows with you. Driver assistance features have also taken a leap forward. Advanced sensors and cameras work together to provide semi-autonomous driving capabilities. The car can handle highway cruising, lane changes, and even stop-and-go traffic with minimal input. But more importantly, it does all of this in a way that feels natural, not intrusive. Safety feels like a quiet presence rather than a constant warning system. And then there's practicality, something many performance-focused cars tend to forget. Despite its futuristic design and powerful setup, the 2026 Chrysler 300e series remains incredibly usable. The trunk offers plenty of space for daily needs or long trips. The cabin layout is intuitive, making everything easy to reach without distraction. This is a car you can live with, not just admire. And that balance is what makes it stand out. Because when you compare it emotionally to what's already out there, this car feels different. It doesn't try to be overly aggressive like some performance sedans. It doesn't lean too heavily into minimalism like certain electric competitors. Instead, it finds a middle ground, blending heritage with innovation. It respects where it came from, but it's clearly focused on where it's going. So, who is this car really for? It's for someone who wants presence without noise. Someone who values performance, but also appreciates comfort and intelligence. It's for drivers who don't just want to follow trends, they want something that feels ahead of them. And that's exactly what this car delivers. Now let's talk about something everyone is wondering: the price. With everything packed into this next-generation platform, the 2026 Chrysler 300e series is expected to start around $65,000, with higher performance variants pushing closer to $85,000, depending on configuration. And when you consider the level of power, technology, and design you're getting, it starts to make a lot of sense. But here's the real question. Is this just another upgrade? Or is it the beginning of something bigger? Because when you step back and look at the entire picture, it feels like Chrysler isn't just reviving a name, they're redefining what it stands for. The 300 was always known for its bold presence and smooth ride. Now, it adds intelligence, performance, and a clear vision of the future, and that changes everything. The 2026 Chrysler 300e series doesn't just fit into the modern automotive world. It challenges it. It shows that you don't have to choose between power and efficiency, between luxury and technology, between heritage and innovation. You can have all of it in one package, and that's why this car feels different. Not because it's trying to be revolutionary, but because it naturally is. If you made it this far, you already see what makes this car special. Drop your thoughts below. Would you take this over traditional luxury sedans? And if you want more deep dives into cars that actually matter, make sure you're subscribed to Premium Automotive Reviews, because the future of cars is just getting started. Now let's start number 4, Cadillac V16. What if I told you Cadillac just broke its own rules and quietly brought back something the world thought was gone forever? But this time, it's faster, smarter, and dangerously close to redefining what luxury power really means. Because the all-new 2026 Cadillac V16 isn't just a comeback, it's a statement. And once you truly understand what this machine represents, the idea of a traditional luxury car might never feel the same again. You're watching Premium Automotive Reviews, where we don't just look at cars, we decode what they mean for the future. And trust me, this one isn't just about design or power. There's something hidden beneath this V16 badge that changes everything about how you see modern luxury performance. And we're getting into that. The first thing that hits you isn't speed, it's presence. This car doesn't arrive, it dominates space. That massive upright grille, finished in deep chrome vertical slats, feels almost architectural. And right there, sitting proudly at the center, the V16 badge isn't just branding. It's a warning. Cadillac isn't playing safe anymore. Look closely at the front fascia, and you start noticing how everything is intentional. The ultra-slim LED headlamps stretch horizontally like a sharp glare, while the vertical signature lighting drops down like illuminated blades. It's aggressive, but not loud. Powerful, but controlled. The hood flows long and wide, almost like a luxury yacht cutting through air, hinting that something serious lies underneath. And here's where it gets interesting. Cadillac didn't just design this to look futuristic. They engineered it to move like it belongs in the next decade. Hidden airflow channels, sculpted edges, and subtle aerodynamic elements make this massive luxury coupe surprisingly efficient through the air. You don't expect a car this elegant to think about airflow like a supercar, but it does. Move along the side profile, and the proportions tell a completely different story. This isn't just a luxury car stretched out comfort. It's low planted and sculpted with purpose. Those massive multi-spoke alloy wheels aren't just there for show, they're designed to handle serious performance. The body lines flow like liquid metal, reflecting the environment in a way that makes the car feel alive even when it's standing still. And then the rear, clean, minimal, but unmistakably Cadillac. Vertical LED taillights glow with a signature identity that you can recognize from a distance. No unnecessary clutter, no over-design, just confidence. That's something older luxury cars often tried too hard to achieve. This one doesn't try. It simply is, but the real transformation begins the moment you step inside, because this is where Cadillac stops competing and starts redefining. Slide into the cabin, and everything changes. The outside felt powerful, but inside, it feels intelligent. The dashboard stretches wide with a seamless digital interface, blending driver display and infotainment into one fluid experience. No harsh separations, no outdated layouts. It's clean, modern, and incredibly intuitive. Materials, this is where things get serious. Soft-touch leather layered with precision stitching, real metal accents, open-pore wood, and subtle carbon fiber details that don't scream performance, but quietly remind you that this isn't just about comfort. Ambient lighting flows across the cabin like a soft glow, adapting based on drive modes, mood, even time of day. And here's something most people won't notice at first: the AI integration. This isn't just voice command anymore. The car learns you, your driving habits, your seat preferences, your climate settings, even how you like your music balanced. Over time, it starts adjusting before you even ask. Imagine getting in, and everything just feels right, without touching a single button. That's the level this V16 is playing at. Connectivity is seamless. Over-the-air updates keep the system evolving, meaning the car you buy today isn't the same car you'll have a year later. It gets smarter, more refined, more capable. That's something traditional luxury cars never truly offered. Now here's where things take a turn. Because beneath all this elegance, there's something unexpected: power. And not just luxury-level power. We're talking over 900 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right. The 2026 Cadillac V16 isn't just about comfort. It's engineered with a next-generation twin-turbo V8 hybrid system that delivers brutal acceleration while maintaining refined smoothness. It's the kind of setup that gives you instant torque when you need it, but still cruises like a high-end executive machine when you don't. This is where Cadillac flips the script. Older luxury cars focused on isolation. This one gives you choice. You want silent, effortless driving? It delivers. You want aggressive, performance-driven response? It transforms instantly. The drivetrain is tuned for balance. Adaptive suspension reads the road in real time, adjusting stiffness and ride height depending on conditions. Steering feels precise, controlled, and surprisingly engaging for something in this class. And here's the part most people won't expect. It doesn't feel heavy. Despite its size, the V16 moves with a level of agility that feels almost unnatural for a luxury coupe. That's the advantage of modern engineering blended with performance-focused design. But Cadillac didn't stop at speed. Safety here feels like something out of the future. Advanced driver assistance systems don't just react. They predict. Sensors, cameras, and radar work together to monitor everything around you, helping avoid potential risks before they become real problems. Semi-autonomous driving capabilities allow for stress-free highway cruising, while still keeping the driver fully in control. It's not about removing the driving experience, it's about enhancing it. And then there's practicality, something most people assume a car like this sacrifices. But surprisingly, it doesn't. The cabin is spacious, offering comfort for long drives, daily commutes, even weekend getaways. Storage is smartly integrated, and ride quality ensures you're not exhausted after hours behind the wheel. This is a car you can actually live with, not just admire. And that raises a question: who is this really for? Because it's not trying to be everything for everyone. This V16 is for someone who understands presence, someone who wants performance but refuses to give up luxury, someone who doesn't follow trends but sets them. It's for the driver who wants to arrive differently, and compared to everything else out there, this feels unique. Not because it's louder or flashier, but because it blends two worlds that rarely meet this perfectly. Raw power and refined luxury, combined into something that feels effortless. Now let's talk about what makes this even more interesting. The price. Cadillac is positioning the 2026 V16 in the ultra-premium segment, with an estimated starting price around $180,000 to $220,000 depending on configuration. And while that might sound high, when you consider the level of performance, technology, and craftsmanship, it starts to make a lot more sense, because you're not just buying a car, you're stepping into a new direction for American luxury. And that's what makes this moment so important. Cadillac didn't just bring back the V16 name, they reinvented what it stands for. It's no longer just about size or prestige. It's about innovation, intelligence, and controlled power. So the next time someone tells you luxury cars are all becoming the same, remember this, because the 2026 Cadillac V16 proves they're not. If anything, they're just getting started. And if this is the direction Cadillac is heading, the future of American luxury might be a lot more exciting than anyone expected. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't just another concept or another release. It's something worth paying attention to. Drop your thoughts below, because I want to know, does this feel like the return of true Cadillac dominance, or something completely new? And if you're into deep dives like this, make sure you're subscribed to Premium Automotive Reviews, because the next evolution is already closer than you think. Now let's start number 5, Chevrolet Impala. What if I told you the car everyone thought was gone forever just came back looking like it belongs 10 years ahead of everything else on the road? Not just redesigned, completely reborn. Because the 2026 Chevrolet Impala isn't trying to fit into today's world. It's quietly rewriting what a modern American icon is supposed to be. You're watching Premium Automotive Reviews, where we don't just talk about cars, we break down what actually makes them matter. And trust me, this Impala has details most people will miss at first glance. But once you see them, you won't look at this car the same way again. The moment it appears on screen, something feels different. This isn't the Impala you remember. That long, low silhouette immediately grabs your attention, but it's the way everything flows together that really pulls you in. The front end is smooth yet aggressive, with ultra-slim LED lighting that stretches across like a signature rather than just headlights. It doesn't look retro. It doesn't look futuristic in an exaggerated way either. It feels balanced, like Chevrolet finally figured out how to respect heritage without being trapped by it. And then your eyes land on the grille. It's wide, confident, and subtly detailed, with the Impala name integrated into the design like it's always been there. Not loud, not forced, just right. The airflow channels around it aren't just for style either. They guide air across the body, reducing drag while giving the car that planted almost magnetic road presence. Now take a second and look at the proportions. The hood stretches forward just enough to give it authority, while the roofline glides backward into a coupe-like fastback shape. This is where things get interesting, because even though it looks like a performance machine, it still carries the identity of a grand touring sedan. And those wheels? Large, intricate, almost turbine-inspired. They don't just fill the arches, they complete the stance. Everything about this car feels intentional, from the sculpted side panels to the subtle character lines that catch light differently as the car moves. But it's the rear that truly seals the deal. A continuous LED light bar runs across the back, tying everything together with a clean, modern signature. The quad exhaust setup reminds you that this isn't just about comfort or design. It's about performance too. And right there, centered with confidence, sits the Impala badge, not as a memory, but as a statement. Now here's where the story changes, because stepping inside doesn't feel like entering a car. It feels like stepping into a completely different environment. The cabin is calm, minimal, and incredibly refined. Soft-touch materials, premium leather, and brushed metal accents wrap around you in a way that feels modern without losing warmth. The seats are sculpted for both comfort and support, making it clear this car was designed for real driving, not just short bursts of speed. And then you notice the screens, not overwhelming, not distracting, just perfectly placed. A wide digital display stretches across the dashboard, blending your instrument cluster and infotainment into one seamless interface. Everything is intuitive: navigation, media, vehicle settings. It all feels like it's exactly where it should be. But here's something most people won't expect. This Impala thinks. An advanced AI system runs quietly in the background, learning how you drive, how you sit, even how you prefer your cabin temperature. Over time, it adjusts everything automatically. Seat position, suspension comfort, throttle response. It becomes tailored to you. Imagine getting into your car and it already knows what you want, before you even touch anything. That's the level this Impala is operating on, and it doesn't stop there. The ambient lighting adapts based on your mood and driving conditions. The sound system doesn't just play music. It creates an experience, adjusting acoustics based on cabin noise and speed. Even the voice control feels natural, like you're talking to something that actually understands you. Now let's talk about what's underneath all of this, because this is where the biggest surprise comes in. The 2026 Impala isn't just about comfort and technology, it's packing serious power. We're looking at over 700 horsepower in its top configuration. And no, this isn't just raw, uncontrollable power, it's refined. Smooth when you want it to be, aggressive when you need it. The hybrid-assisted V8 setup delivers instant torque, giving you that immediate push the moment you press the accelerator. But here's the part that really changes everything. It's not just fast in a straight line. The suspension system adapts in real time, adjusting to road conditions and driving style. Whether you're cruising through the city or pushing through corners, the car stays composed, balanced, and incredibly responsive. The all-wheel drive system ensures that power is delivered exactly where it's needed, giving you confidence no matter the conditions. Rain, highways, long-distance drives, it handles everything without feeling overwhelming. And yet, it still feels like an Impala, smooth, comfortable, effortless. That balance between performance and everyday usability is what makes this car stand out. Because while other vehicles in this space focus on one thing, this one does everything well. Now think about safety for a moment. With this level of performance, you'd expect advanced systems, and the Impala delivers. Surround view sensors, predictive braking, lane intelligence, and semi-autonomous driving capabilities all work together seamlessly. But what makes it special is how invisible it feels. You're not constantly reminded of the technology. It just works, quietly protecting you, assisting you, and giving you the confidence to enjoy the drive without distraction. And surprisingly, this isn't just a driver-focused machine. It's practical too. There's real space inside. Enough for passengers to sit comfortably, enough storage for long trips, and enough refinement to make daily driving feel premium instead of routine. Whether it's a weekend getaway or a long highway cruise, this car adapts to your lifestyle without compromise. Which brings us to a question most people won't ask, but should. Who is this car really for? Because it's not trying to compete directly with anything. It's creating its own space. This is for someone who wants performance, but not at the cost of comfort. Someone who values technology, but doesn't want it to feel overwhelming. Someone who appreciates design, but doesn't need it to scream for attention. It's for drivers who understand that true luxury isn't about excess, it's about balance. And that's exactly what this Impala delivers. Now let's talk numbers that actually matter. The 2026 Chevrolet Impala is expected to start around $65,000, with fully loaded performance and technology packages, pushing it closer to $90,000. And when you consider what you're getting, over 700 horsepower, advanced hybrid technology, next-level interior, and a design that stands out without trying too hard, it starts to make a lot of sense. Because this isn't just a comeback, it's a redefinition. The Impala isn't trying to compete with the past, it's moving beyond it. It's showing what an American sedan can be when it's not limited by expectations. And maybe that's why it feels so different, because it doesn't feel like it belongs to one category anymore. It feels like the beginning of something new. So the real question is, did Chevrolet just bring back a legend? Or did they create something entirely different under the same name? Drop your thoughts below, because this one's going to start conversations. And if you're into cars that actually move the industry forward, stay connected with premium automotive reviews, because this is just the start of what's coming next.